What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Out the Box TV. I'm your host, Krill. I got my brother next to me. What's good?
What's good, Crow? How you doing, brother?
Yourself? I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm so happy that you here with me tonight, man. You hit me up and you was like, man, we got the verses on tonight, and I had just seen it, and I was like, yo, I forgot about that. So I'm glad we could build on this Anthony Hamilton versus Music Child tonight, man. You know,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not always hip to the game, but I felt like this was. I didn't know what was happening. To be honest, it was a pleasant surprise, man. It wasn't. I didn't see
definitely.
much pub about it or anything like that. So to catch these two guys who I never even really in my mind formulated that they would be great for a versus. It was definitely a pleasant surprise tonight.
Indeed, indeed. So we're gonna definitely talk about it. I got a chance to catch the majority of it. In fact, when I tuned in, I thought every time I tune into the verses, especially the ones that I'm not expecting, I always find myself catching it like maybe like the first two songs in. And I thought that when I tuned in, I was a little later on,
Me too.
but it was
Mhm.
actually early. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. This is an R&B one, like
It
you said
was.
earlier, like I didn't I had heard about this verses, but I wasn't sure when it was gonna air. And I had learned that it was not even supposed to air initially on IG. Like it was they was trying to make it a paid thing at first. And fans was upset with that. You know what I'm saying? So that was interesting, when I saw that. But I'm glad that they didn't.
Yeah.
So big ups to Anthony Hamilton and Musiq Soulchild, man. So what did you think so far, man? Like in just like overall of the event, man? Did you feel like this was a worthy versus that took place?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think really, even though it was, labeled R&B, for me, it was really, early 2000s, even a little bit late 90s, but early 2000s, these two guys really coming up sort of in different camps, different veins, but still at the end of the day, you could tell both of their roots are like firmly planted in hip hop. And
Definitely.
I remember, music first came out. Um, you know, you couldn't. He was coming in off the tail or on the tails of just the whole Philly music movement with the Roots and Joe Scott and all these just flourishments of just music coming out of one town. And similar to Anthony Hamilton, of course, coming up, being produced by Jermaine Dupri, hip hop producer extraordinaire. So these brothers have a lot of deep, hip hop context. And, for me, I remember, I was saying I've lived through these records. I remember them coming out. I remember, you know, after college and the summers and making road trips and stuff, and having both of these guys as a soundtrack. And early 2000, that's raucous. That's heavy hip hop. We talking, coming out of the Biggie heydays and going into the next millennium. And those in my minds were the two guys who were like certified for, if you were like a hip hop backpacker, it was okay. It was okay for you to have Musiq Soulchild in your catalog. It was okay for Anthony
Definitely.
Hamilton. So yeah, there's a lot of deep connections there, sort of like that real transition, that bridge, that beacon of light outside of hip hop, but still deeply rooted. So
Definitely.
this it was crazy because I didn't know it was coming on, and I'm watching. I'm like, this is me. This is I felt like a real deep connection.
Indeed, indeed. And I mean you talking about more of like a neo soul type of
Mm,
sound too,
yep.
and when you think about the contributions of people like Jay Dilla and the Soul Aquarians, Questlove, and I'm like that's like cousins right there. That's like
Yeah.
immediately connected, man. So that's a valid point, man. So yeah, man. It was when I first heard about the verses and these two brothers going up against each other, I guess on first I'm like, all right, maybe, but then I thought about it. I was like, nah, that actually works. It's they're in the same vein, you know. So I'm glad that they were able to come together and do this, and I'm glad, even though I didn't expect it from an R&B act, but I'm glad that it was peaceful, right? Like it wasn't like it was no craziness, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Jack Thriller
yeah,
was going
yeah,
in though.
yeah, yeah. We knew he
I
would
didn't.
though, but
Yeah. I didn't know that was Jack Thriller. Like at first, and then I was like, hold on. I was like, oh, that's Jack Thriller, and but then it made so much sense when he was he's cracking on Anthony Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? What do you call him?
smoking.
He said he had the Django suit on
He's the
or
Django shoe, call him a runaway slave,
runaway
stop
slave.
singing
Yeah.
legal spirituals, and yeah, he had a full bag for him. Yeah.
Oh man, yo man, but I gotta say, man, Anthony Hamilton. All right, so I'm gonna just be off. I'm gonna just keep it straight up. Like I'm a bigger Music
Excuse me.
Soulchild fan. I'm a bigger Music Soulchild fan. So
Mm.
I thought that Music would have just went through, like he would have just ran through his catalog and destroyed him. But that wasn't the case tonight.
Mm. Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
are you hearing me? I feel like I'm hearing an echo.
I'm good, man. I don't hear any echo, but
I don't know
yeah,
what
that
is
you know,
going on.
as again, it's like it's the whole versus theory, man. It's like you could have a really preconceived notion of what's gonna go down and what's gonna take place, but it's all about the execution, you know. 20 joints. I mean, those two guys have 20 songs, and it's a matter of what songs they pick.
Right.
But yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's funny because I had, for some reason, I had the chat box open. I was watching on a streaming service, and I couldn't keep track. The chats were coming in, so I was just like, I can't, you know. So everybody had like a mixed opinion, but
Right.
Anthony Hamilton, man, like I felt like just his vocal performance alone, it's hard. In some ways, you compare apples and oranges. So you got Anthony Hamilton, his vocal performance carries strong through everything. And there
Absolutely.
were points, of course, where Musiq, I don't think Musiq, we never really had the expectation of Musiq as being like the singer, as the guy who just blew you away with his vocal performances. But it was really the songwriting, the melodies, the chord structures, the just the lyrics, man. Like,
Right.
I mean, that's where he outshined. And he held it down. I mean, bear in mind these songs came out 20 years. So if you expect, you know, um, just listen Musiq, the voice to come out with the falsettos and all that, if he did that, you definitely would have been disappointed. But
Right.
it's just they to each his own for all of them, but Anthony, that guy's voice, he he
Yeah,
he
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 definitely
has a
performed.
he has his comfortable pocket. And it's tough, man. It's like, I mean, you really got to give these guys their flowers because, I've been saying this for a while, like even back then, I always felt like, sounds crazy, but I felt like Musiq was kind of like, for us of our generation, he was kind of like a Curtis Mayfield. Like he just had endless, like just endless content just to give you, just, could write, drop a song, sing, play all the instruments, all that stuff, and just compose everything.
Right.
And for me, actually, I always said that Anthony was like the Otis Redding. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe not, on the boards, maybe not, writing every note or composing everything, but when he gets on that microphone, that voice, the content, talking about his conversations about a girl with his mother, all kinds of stuff that just hit home.
Right.
And that voice, that smokiness, that grit of that voice, that warmth, it just really, it evokes emotion. It make a grown man cry. So it was really great to see these brothers like really like literally getting their flowers, tossing out flowers, just being respected for like the impact in their artistry. So it's just
Indeed.
hard. It's just it's a celebration. It was another celebration. It was great.
Indeed, man. I gotta say, man, like you said a mouthful there, like, and I totally agree with that. Like it These verses, man, and it's been a while. I feel like we've had a verses that, I think, period. I haven't heard any verses lately, so it's always good to be able to kind of relive those moments with these types of artists, you know. But and you know, when you watch the verses, you think about like all of these records that you forget about. Like, what was the
Yeah.
curveball record that you thought tonight was the record that you wasn't thinking about but just happened to come out? He was like, oh, that's the dope one right there. Like, was there any
Oh, the
moments
Jada
like that you
the
felt tonight?
Jadakiss joint.
The-
The
I
Jadakiss.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with
The
you.
Jadakiss, he was yeah, I was like, "Oh, oh,
The
okay.
wide
All right.
joint. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
brother."
Yeah,
And
absolutely,
then
man.
the American Gangster joint too. Like it wasn't a total surprise, but I forgot how
Right,
much I love that record. You know what I'm saying? It was just a
right.
one-off, but I forgot how just amazing that record was and how it sounded and just how timeless it was. Um shoot for music, I mean, Musiq has some joints, man. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
Musiq, he's so talented, and like I'm sure he has his set list, the greatest hits, but you
Hmm.
could tell he kind of gets tired. He kind of wants to go outside of the box. So there's a couple of joints I don't think I really heard before, but the one that I really liked was when I forget, I don't even know if the song has a name, but he was on the next movement, the instrumental for the Roots, the next movement, the the hot music, and then he
Right,
flipped
right.
his own version of D'Angelo's Brown Sugar on top of that. I thought that was like
That was dope.
that was really innovative and cool. He just
Right.
took a couple like uh, three or four different old concepts and made them his own. So that just really just kind of really tells you a lot about Musiq in a nutshell in terms of how talented he is. He just sort of reaches back to
Right.
songs like Buddy and stuff like that, these old jams, and just puts a new spin on it. So yeah, it was
Indeed.
cool to see those surprises.
Yeah, definitely, man. You know, it's when I heard him do the Y record, just like you,
Yep.
that was the curveball one
I
that
was
was
like, okay, yeah.
surprising. That brought me back. And you know, I thought to myself, how dope would it have been if Jada would have came out, right? He said, yo, shout out to Jada Kiss who couldn't make it, but he's here in spirit. I was
uh
like, yo, so that means he probably reached out to him to come,
yeah,
but he
yeah.
couldn't make it. But that would have been sick, yo. Then they
He has
played
a,
go ahead, I'm sorry, what you
no,
saying?
no, no, go ahead.
Now I was saying they played like towards the end of the show, they played like I think they played like a I don't know, like the Annie Up beat
Well,
MOP
Buddy,
joint.
yeah, yeah,
I was funny. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, that's
That was
crazy.
hard. That was so
Yeah, yeah,
hard.
yeah. That would have been crazy if MOP would have came out, but I guess we gotta wait for Buster's verses for that. Word. But
Yeah.
yo, man, let's talk about the tracks, man, because I was able to get a track list going of all of the tracks that they played, you know. So I mean, they kicked it off with the Mama New Love by Anthony Hamilton in the first round. And then uh actually Musiq Soulchild started off with the Roots track, Coming to Break You Off. Yo, taking it back, right? That's the
Yeah,
joint right there. Coming to
Anthony
Break You Off.
Hamilton, yeah, literally, I think it was like track one of album one. Mama New
Wow.
Love, yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You hear Anthony Hamilton, you hear Jermaine's little voice in the background and stuff, that little echo, and you just as soon as that comes on, you listen, the record is, you could just kind of ride through the whole record. So
word.
yeah, and the Roots joint, of course, just bringing it back to the Philly essence. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was classic.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely dope, man. You know, I remember, it's so funny, like when you think about these records that we heard tonight, you forget that these artists were major parts of these records, right? Like it's a Roots record, so you may remember it specifically as a Roots record, but their voice had a major contribution to the record.
Mm.
So it's actually like events like this kind of reveal like how many people are involved in music's, and projects and stuff like that. So it was good to get that highlight, and just to see the range of where these two artists have been able to take it in their career, like, doing different types of songs and collaborating with different bands and artists and stuff. So that was dope, man. Yeah. So what do you think won that round between the two Mama New Love and Coming to Break You Off?
Yeah, I mean, I really shoot. I was
That
just it
first
was
first round.
you know, it was like the first round of a fight, man. Just two fighters testing each other out. You know, and as a spectator, as an observer, you're kind of just trying to figure out how is this going to go. So I mean, yeah, that it was for a minute, it was a dead heat, man. And then when we can keep going, but I felt like every like guy shined at certain points. I felt like Anthony pulled away at one point, and then Musiq came right back, and it was just it was like a back and forth. It was real cool. So yeah, I think it was pretty even at that point. You know what I mean?
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say what I think I might have tuned in exactly at that point.
Mm,
Or maybe yeah, I think it was either that or coming from where I'm from, the next track that Anthony Hamilton did. And I gotta say, when I first tuned in, music sounded off. Like his
yeah.
voice didn't sound like it was translating really well in the live performance arena. And I don't know if it's because he has a higher pitched voice and Anthony Hamilton is a little deeper in his voice, but I just feel like Anthony was getting him early, but I think in my opinion, like I like the Anthony Hamilton. I mean, I like the Musiq Soulchild records more. Like
Mhm.
even when I looked at the track list, I'm like, yo, I'm a I'm a bigger fan of Musiq's records, but Anthony Hamilton showed out tonight,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna wait till the end of the show for us to say like who we think won or whether it was a tie or not. But I gotta say now that I think Anthony Hamilton definitely gave him a run for his money.
Absolutely. Yeah, they both
Yeah,
acknowledge that too. They both
yeah,
acknowledge it.
definitely, definitely, man. So yeah, like I said earlier, I felt like Musiq was cracking. His voice was cracking a little bit, but I feel like he made up for that later on with some of the bigger records of his, and also I think he started doing some cool things where he would like do the kind of like go in and out like kind of acapella at times, and change up his display of his vocals at certain times. So I think that helped as well. And I think he also became more comfortable, like warmed up
Yeah.
to the stage and everything. So yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, to Music's credit though, it's just kind of like it is what it is. I mean,
yeah,
when Musiq, came out, he was a young kid and he could hit those falsettos. He was kind of like this brash, young, sort of, a little precocious kid kind of type of thing where he talked to a young lady and be real slick about it. And just, Anthony comes at you like an old player, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it really is that comparison of Curtis and Otis is really applicable in that stage, because if you imagine, how two singers would sing with time, really Anthony, like, his voice, that's a voice you can grow into, you know what I mean? Because his range, he can hit the falsettos, but really it's that bass, that bottom, that grit,
right.
that really, like, you can carry at an older age. And to Music's credit, he really didn't have that rasp, that grit you can really sort of adapt to. He kind of had to
Absolutely.
keep it at that one timbre that he always kept it at. And again, just strength of voice. You know what I mean? It was just like Anthony he always hit those. His voice always carried with strength. And timbre. I mean, Musiq was more, kind of danced on top of the beat at the higher registers, and that's a
Right.
tough thing to continue on when you get into your 40s and your 50s. So
Absolutely.
it's just one of those things. It's not really luck, or it's just kind of, it's just a happenstance. But you're right that you're comparing, the voices, but then, compared at one level, but then in terms of like the quality of the songwriting, the
Right.
melodies, just the bop to it, the pocket of the songs, and Musiq is a beast. He really is, man. Like, just he could just churn them out, the hits. So it was you like comparing like a man's voice versus a man's catalog was kind of like
Right,
a hard thing to
right.
do, but you know, it's still a fun exercise. So
Dope, dope. Yeah, let's go to some of the other songs, man. That was I'm not gonna go through everything, but like I'll look at some of the highlights, man. So he did the next song. The next round was round two. Anthony Hamilton did "Coming from Where I'm From" versus Musiq Soulchild's "Merry Go Round." Then round three we had Anthony Hamilton "I'm a Mess" and Musiq
Mhm.
Soulchild's "Previous Cats." "Previous Cats" is my joint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a real record right there, man.
word, word.
That's
That's
something
my
that
yo.
goes through
Listen,
every man's head. It does. It does. You know what I mean? It's like
yo.
it's the unspoken that drives you crazy.
What was the album that was on? Like there was hits on that album. I forget the name of that album, but
I don't
I
know. I
think it
don't know
was
if it
the
was Just
album where
Listen.
yeah, I think it might have been
Was that
Just Listen.
with the red and orange drawing in
Yeah, and
front?
he had the headphones and stuff and his,
I think
yeah,
so.
close up
Yeah.
pic. Yeah, that was that yo, that was my joint. Then we had round four, Anthony Hamilton, "Since I
Yeah.
Seen You" versus Musiq Soulchild, "For the Night."
Yeah. Since I
Yeah,
seen you can't. That's the ride around music for me. That's the joint you
nice.
just put it in and just let just just go. Just that's the ride
Yeah,
music. You just ride around town with that one, just with the little light bob. But
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
For the Night, that one, I forgot about that one. Like that's the thing with music too. He has a lot of joints that you forget about, like and when you hear it, it's like, oh, that
That's
was hot.
the lyrics too. So
Yes,
like flirtatious and seductive. You know what I mean? It's like game. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could really learn some game from listening to music.
yeah,
And kind of sneak it in, like, let's just act like it like that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It's just like he got game, you know what I'm saying? And not in a cheesy way because,
right.
really the ladies love those songs just as much as the men do. So it was just some
Yo, the
real
lady,
clever
you see the
slick.
ladies in
Yeah,
the front,
man.
and they
Yeah.
was rocking.
And
They
I'm
was
telling you, like,
rocking.
we lived through those records. So it's like when you
Absolutely,
hear these songs, you thinking back to when you first heard the song and the memories that, so it's just the authenticity is like, is baked in.
absolutely, man, absolutely. So what else we had? We had round five, Anthony Hamilton. He did "Giving You the Best of Me" versus Musiq Soulchild, "So Beautiful." Another
Yeah, that's
record,
you
"So
can't
Beautiful." Oh
you
my
can't
goodness.
compete with that record. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Like,
that record, that record is like once you start hearing, like you just start hearing it like the first few seconds of the record, you like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it just hype you up from there.
you're
So
like,
yeah, I think
if I ever get married, I want this song to play at my wedding. Like type of,
yeah, yeah, that's the
when
record
you're a
right
kid,
there.
you're like, oh,
That's the
this
wedding
song is
record right there.
amazing. Right, exactly.
Definitely. Round six, Anthony Hamilton did "The Point of It All" versus Robert Glasper featuring Musiq Soulchild. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Wasn't that dope to see Robert Glasper come out?
Yeah, like when I heard the chords first being played, I was like, okay, here he goes, like off the beaten path. But yeah, I mean, Robert Glasper, he was a music fan, so it was surprising to see him. It seems like I don't know, it seems like he kind of stays in his circle. And like the verses thing may not be part of his, right in his bag, but he wrote it out, man. It was cool to see, and that improvisation is like walking on a tightrope, man. You never know what's going to happen. So it was, I shouts to both those men for really testing the
Yeah,
waters.
indeed. Yeah was probably one of my favorite tracks from Black Radio. I think it came out on Black Radio. It was either Black Radio 1 or Black Radio 2, but that it was good to see that. Then we had what else we had? We had
Black Radio 3 on the way, apparently,
oh
sometime
yeah, I
soon.
can't wait for that. Did you hear the
Yeah.
new single with Big Crit and Killer Mike and BJ the Chicago
Nah,
Kid?
nah.
Yeah. I think it's
I,
called Black Superhero. Yeah, Black Superhero.
that
Yeah,
makes sense, man,
go
because
check
both
that
of
out,
them.
bro. That
Yeah,
joint
all
is
right.
hard, man. Yeah, I posted it on the website, on the blog,
All right,
outtheboxmedia.com. Yeah, for those checking this out right now too, man, make sure y'all check out the new music blog, outtheboxmedia.com, where I post new hip hop and soul on a daily basis. Mostly hip hop, but I try to get the soul in. Speaking of soul, Mary J. Blige's new album is fire. I love it, man.
man.
It, it,
Shoot.
it's it's really dope, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I like
Good Morning, Gorgeous. She did a
the
thing
Usher
on the
song.
on the Super Bowl joint
That Usher
Sunday
song
night.
is dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. That's an album that builds too. At
definitely.
first it was kind of it was a little not classic soulful Mary. She was giving you auto tune and all this stuff,
Right.
but yeah, she
That
has some joints.
Anderson Pack joint here with me.
Yeah.
Whew.
Mm.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. But yeah, shout out to Mary. She did a thing on the halftime special at the Super Bowl, man, as well.
She,
That
she lost,
was we got to talk about that, me
yeah,
and
she
you
lost
know.
her mind. She lost her mind in that one. She got
Yo,
she
she fell down at the
she
end.
struck
She
a
was like,
nerve. She struck
yo,
a nerve.
she ain't
Yeah.
dropped the mic, she dropped the whole
Right.
self. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Word.
Something hit her on the wrong spot or something. But
Yeah, man. But
it
she
was
did a
great,
thing.
man. It was great drama, man. She passed out. At first, we was like, "Oh, is she all right?" But she just
The
in
queen
those
of hip
couple of
hop,
minutes, man. She
R&B.
just
Word. Sorry. So let's move on to the next round. What did we have? He did Anthony Hamilton did Can't Let Go, and Musiq Soulchild did Don't Change. Don't Change, another one of my favorites.
mm,
Um, then Anthony Hamilton did Her Heart, and Musiq Soulchild did 17.
that was another surprise. I didn't think he was gonna go in that direction, but what was it? I forget the lyric, but like she cried in my arms and all that. It's like, woo. That was tough, man. Yeah, that was tough. That was real cool how he snuck that in there.
Yeah, that was dope, man. Then we had round 9, Nappy Roots. Well, this is a Nappy Roots record featuring Anthony Hamilton, Po Folks, featuring Musiq Soulchild, Teach Me. Wow. I forgot
Teach
about
me,
that record, Po
teach me.
Folks. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I was gonna say the same thing. I was just like, yeah, he's on the hook. Yeah,
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 man.
Anthony.
Was that
Yeah,
the record with the brother that came out and was rapping? He had like a medallion, like a
it
silver,
was like a
like big
bike
piece.
chain. I don't
Yeah,
even
bike
know.
chain. Was
I
that
don't know
that
what that
record?
was. Man. I did. That was the record. Yeah,
That was it, right? Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess there were there's other members of the group, but yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the hook specifically, and yeah, it sounded good. It really
Yeah,
did sound
that was a good record,
nice.
but I don't know if it beat Teach Me, man. Like
Mm-mm. Nope, nope. Sorry.
Teach Me. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it's just an iconic. Yeah, that was a home run right there. That was a
Yeah.
big bop.
Then we had round 10, Jill Scott featuring Anthony Hamilton, So in Love. That was a nice record. I think when that record came out, it was real smooth and like,
Smooth.
chill, lax, party
I love
vibe.
that record. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
love
nice
that record.
record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
And
record
then
either goes up or it just mellows you out. You could feel it either way.
yeah, that's a grown folk record right
Yep.
there.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
That's the record you play at
That's
the wedding before
right.
at the reception of the wedding
Right.
before
Exactly.
the night is up. Like
Exactly. When
last few
during
records.
the what is it? The cocktail hour. That's the cocktail
Right,
hour song.
right.
Or
And
the
then
riverboat, or the cruise,
the crew.
all white linen cruise.
Oh my god,
Get you,
I
know what I'm
like that.
saying? Right. Get your
Then
fedora.
music word,
Nah,
right? Music Soul Child, yes. So that was a nice matchup as well. Yo, what did you think about the outfits, man? Like people had jokes. I mean, of course, with the outfit that Anthony Hamilton was rocking, but music had on a
yeah, like
interesting hoodie on. Like I was like,
it was
what's
like a
going on
crop
with this
top.
hoodie? It's
It
like
was like
mad
a mid
short and
drift.
stuff.
It was a mid drift hoodie. Yo, hey man,
Yo, did he ever take the hoodie off? Like
he
I
took
know
it
he
off
had
a
on a
couple
hat.
times.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he took it off a
He
couple
had this
times.
hoodie with this short,
It was
like a tank hoodie.
it was right. It was like hit him right, right above the navel.
Where
But hey, man, Philly got styles, man. Shout out to Philly. Philly got
Oh yeah,
styles.
big ups to Philly and Charlotte, North Carolina, because that's where Anthony Hamilton is from, and of course, Musiq Soulchild is from Philly. So we had two cities that's known to have a lot of black soul in it. So yeah, man,
Killing me.
definitely
Philadelphia Souls,
word
TSOP and Gamble and Huff, and Philly can go on and on for days,
for,
man.
for
It's
sure.
like it's funny because like I never even OJ, like I never even thought about Philly, as a
Ain't
kid.
the
I'm like, oh,
Delphonics? Ain't the
Del,
Delphonics from Philly too?
man, who else?
Yeah,
Shoot, I can't even think. Billy Paul, like all these
right,
guys, just like, and
right,
here I am in college. I'm like, yeah, there's so much great music coming out of Philly. There's the Roots, there's Jill Scott. It goes. There's Will Smith, and it goes back. It goes back, man. It's like, well, I always loved how the Jacksons, I guess they were the Jacksons at that point. They had a nice little run with Gamble and Huff, where they were like, that's a nice cool era when Mike was like a teenager too. All those records are
right,
kind of forgotten about. That little sweet spot of like that, Philadelphia soul with the horns and the arrangements and all that stuff, and Mike's just doing his thing in the background. That was a
right.
great moment. So I definitely go back and look at those records. I can't name them off the top of my head, but they had some great records. Philly has touched a lot of. It's like Detroit, man. It's just like touched a
For
lot of
real,
people, and
for
it's just
real.
it doesn't get the credit that it deserves.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. So let's keep going. So the next joint, I think it was what round? Round 12, the Chris Brown record featuring Anthony Hamilton. That was called Back to Sleep Remix. So that
Yeah, I
was
didn't know there was a
more of
remix.
an upbeat.
I thought he was just rhyming. He's just covering it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
covering the song, but I didn't know there's a
yeah.
remix.
That was more of like what I would say, like a modern upbeat type of record,
Yeah,
and then the music did I Do. So that was
I
cool
do, I
too.
do, I do. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
really, that song was the hook to it. It was kind of hard for me to digest, but I loved it. I like that record now. Just the
yeah.
fact that he performed it, just seeing him giving that energy, I was like, all right, a little catchy play on words and like the context he says the phrase "I do." So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, yeah. Then we had round 13. Anthony Hamilton did Do You Feel Me? This was from the American Gangster soundtrack. And Musiq Soulchild did L Is Gone. That was a nice matchup too. I don't know who
Hmm.
won that one, in
Hmm.
terms of that round 13, but that was cool as well. Yeah, like it was cool that he also shouted out the American Gangster soundtrack. He's like, yo, go check that out if you ain't get a
Yeah,
chance.
yeah,
Because
that was
some of
pretty
these
cool.
records you might have not heard, that's the other thing with like soundtracks. Like, I think soundtrack music is a bit underrated in terms of its its impact on music, right? There's like when you think about like certain records, like there were certain records that initially only came out on a soundtrack, and
Mhm.
and you would have to have known about that soundtrack, but it's some really great records as well too. So it was cool that he highlighted that. Then
Yeah,
he
man.
brought out what did he did? Round 14. That was Donnell Jones, You Know What's Up, which was actually written by Anthony Hamilton.
Know that. Did
Uh
know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that neither.
Makes sense
You
though.
know, that was dope. That like when he said his name, I was like, yo, he better bring him out. He better bring Donnell
What
Jones
does
out.
Donnell Jones really I mean, I don't know. He could have been busy. Why didn't David Banner show up? Well, we'll talk about that
I
later.
know, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the record with David
But
Banner.
yeah, I'm glad Donnell was. Yeah, I'm glad he was there.
Yeah, and then that was against Musiq Soulchild's Half Crazy. Now, even though I really like Half Crazy,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna I'll for this round I'll give the edge because of Donnell Jones. It was really cool to see him there, but I like Half Crazy as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
by Musiq Soulchild. Yeah, so that
Mm.
was it was cool to see Donnell Jones. I would have liked if he would have like did like maybe another record, at least one or two more records, but I know they would press for time. But it would have
Yeah,
been
cut it
cool to
to
get
another one.
another. Yeah, to get another Donnell Jones, like the joint. Are you down to swing and with me? You know that joint. That would have been dope, man. You know what I mean? And then they had I think they had Lucky Day come out
My
and
man, my
perform
man,
over.
my
Yeah,
man. What's up?
yeah,
Yo, Lucky
word.
is cool, man. Like, what is he? He's like 20 something, but he's already like done features for Babyface,
Right.
uh, now Anthony Hamilton, and also Earth, Wind, and Fire. He covered September, and they had him. He was on like their greatest hits. So for a young kid, I mean, it's a minor point, but just you don't see that. You don't see these
Yeah, yeah,
young
yeah.
artists like doing features for Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like you just don't see it.
Absolutely.
They do
Yeah.
features with their contemporaries, or a rapper or somebody,
Right.
But it's just you can tell that this brother has. I mean, obviously he has his own sense of style because
Yeah.
he's always coming at you different, like even aesthetically, like how he's dressed and stuff. But he still reaches back. You can hear that old soul, that he's just crooner. You know what I'm saying at heart. So it was
Definitely.
cool. And also
Yeah. Yeah.
Raheem Devon too, who's like
Raheem
like
Devon. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What I did I miss that? Like, cause I
It was
think
they're
I
all
know
on the
that.
same song. Yeah, I forget the name of the
Oh
song,
yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, that's what I meant.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were
Hero,
all on the
yeah,
same.
my man,
Yeah,
Hero.
yeah. The track with Eric Roberson, right? Yeah, Eric
Yeah,
Roberson and
yeah.
Raheem Devon and Kevin Ross. That was the Lessons remix.
The lessons, yeah. Wifey's that's wifey's jam right there.
That's what's
Yeah.
up. That's what's up. So did I miss that? I thought I tracked that. Okay. Yeah, but I know that they did come out and do that. I forget when that came, but yeah, the Lessons remix. All right, so then he did where we was at? We was at round 14, right? With Donnell Jones. All right, then 15, he did Anthony Hamilton did the track with David Banner, Cool versus Music Soulchild, Just Friends. So yeah, it was cool to get Just Friends as well, man. Wow, man. A lot of joints tonight, man. I feel like
Mhm.
if this verses would have had extended time, they would have had more stuff. Cause it seemed like they
Oh yeah.
they was ready
Oh
to
yeah.
go. Yeah. Shout out to Jermaine Dupri. I think he did a wonderful job. He was DJing for Anthony Hamilton, right?
Yeah. He was.
Yeah,
I was.
yeah,
I
that was
didn't think.
dope.
I didn't know it was him until like 20 minutes
I
when he
did,
took the
yeah,
hood off. I was like, oh shoot, that's JD.
right. Yeah, that was dope. And then we had round 16 Jada Kiss. Why? Performed by Anthony Hamilton, which was that moment that we said earlier. That was like the curveball. Like I wasn't even thinking about that record, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they both got records that still we probably didn't hear tonight that was featured on other notable artists. You know what I'm saying? Just like that Jada Kiss record, man. So, but it's always cool when those kinds of songs get highlighted,
Yeah.
because you
If he did
forget
what?
about them
Remember that?
sometimes.
Remember the Ghostface joint? What was that called? Shoot.
See?
It was on. I think it was on the Pretty Face Tony album, which was great. I love
Wow.
that album. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
when he's talking about it was almost like a throwback, like the Mary joint. But yeah, Soulchild did his thing on that song. Yeah. Um,
Dope.
he's had a couple other like hip hop collaborations.
I'm
Maybe I
sure it's
want
a
to say
lot,
like
man.
Talib or somebody. But
Exactly.
yeah, that boy, I mean, and he, you could tell every time he does a feature, it's not like he's just hopping on a track. Like he's
Right.
either produced it or he's contributed significantly in terms of like playing instruments on it. He really like puts his own flair on the record. So yeah, that would be the Ghostface joint. That would have been tight though. Yeah.
Yo, man. So he did Y, and then that was and then Music Soul Child did the joint featuring Mary J. Blige, If You Leave. I believe If You Leave, I think that was the name of that record. That
Mm.
was another one that in fact that record reminds me of Teach Me, like the
Yeah.
sound. I get them mixed up, but that was
It
another
was
record
yeah,
that was
it
dope.
was
Yeah,
similar. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And round 17 is when Anthony Hamilton brought out Leela James for Complicated.
Yeah.
That was an epic performance right there. I like
Yeah.
that. They had the chemistry and everything, man. That was dope. That was nice.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool, man. It just like, that was the beginning, man, and just just the chemistry between the two. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like Marvin and Tammy Terrell. Like, it's
I
just,
was loving that.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's just like hand in glove. The same. And she has that smokiness to her voice as well. That
Yes.
soulfulness.
That's a good point.
So it's just, you just want to light up a cigar and have a glass of scotch and just, what I'm saying, like just chill on an old leather couch and just vibe when you hear the both of them together. So that was great to see her.
Yep, that was against Musiq Soulchild 143. I think he won that round, Anthony
Hmm.
Hamilton, just
Yeah,
bringing out Leela. Then we had
yeah.
round 18, Anthony Hamilton, You Made a Fool of Me versus Musiq Soulchild. Who knows? Another record by Musiq
Mm.
that. Yeah, I know I'm like, it sounds like I'm slighting towards music, but it's just these records, I just remember these records so
You remember?
well,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta say, Anthony Hamilton, like I said earlier, man, he definitely held his ground. Like, um, he's extremely talented, and he showed that tonight. Yeah. Round 19, Anthony Hamilton, Pray for Me versus Musiq Soulchild, Love. Oh, I was like, man, they saving like the records for the end, man. Like they saving like the
yeah,
big, the powerful
yeah.
records for the end. Yeah. So they had still had some stuff in the tank, man. you That was dope, man. You notice like when they told them, they was like, you got like 4 more records, and they was trying to figure out like, you mean 4 more per
Right.
person or
Yeah,
four
music was like,
more?
hold up, wait. It's like he threw out a red flag. It was like, yo, let's review this play. What are we gonna what what now?
Yep, that was dope,
You
man.
strategizing.
Love, man. Like he ran into like a little acapella state when he did the Love record. Like that's a perfect record to close the night with. So he knew what he
Mm.
was doing with that, music. Then we closed the night with Anthony Hamilton, Charlene versus Musiq Soulchild's Buddy. That was perfect too. Even though Buddy was more of an upbeat record,
They
it
were
just still felt good. Those two,
equally huge songs, equally huge
exactly.
and different. Charlene was like, yeah. Buddy's dope
Charlene
though,
was the
man.
record. Yeah,
I love the way, I know we talked about the Annie Up part, which was great, but just just how clean that Buddy record sounds, you know what I'm saying? Just like taking an old record, they could have easily sampled it and just kind of looped it and made it pop and just add some little chimes or whatever and updated it and made it sound new. But they really like this is the innovation too. That was the song came from a real hip hop state of mind,
right.
the structure of it and the sound of it. But just this was the time when you had the live instrumentation, and it was like when cats were really using live instrumentation to actually hire musicians and play songs over so they sound fresher and newer. This is just the sonic clarity of it and just the crispness and how those drums kick. Man, that Buddy's you could just listen to that and just get a good feeling from it. So
Yeah,
but Charlene, man, the way he draws out that hook and just at the end of it is Charlene, waiting by the phone and all this, like it just, that it's apples and oranges, but just greatness on either end.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, man, that was a solid versus. I think, where would you rate it in terms of like the R&B verses that you've seen so far, man? Because
Up
we've
there,
had a few of them. Yeah.
yeah. I would probably say, man, because again, I can't keep track of all the joints, but
We had some old school R&B, and we had some. I can't say we've had that much new school R&B. Probably
yeah,
like Brandy and Monica,
Brandy, Monica, we had
but of course we had the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire. We had
Jill and
the
Erica,
Keith
that was
Sweat
dope.
joint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Keith,
Keith
yeah,
and Bobby.
Keith,
Yeah,
yeah. What was the other one? It was Aaron Hall and Babyface, right? That was the one. That was the one.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Comedy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
this
think
was
this
up.
was like the first neo soul one. Like
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no. I'm
This was
sorry, Erica Badu and
Erica
Jill
and
was,
Jill.
but this was
Yeah,
like the male joint, the male version to that.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
No, it was
from a
dope,
neo
man.
soul perspective.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
dope. No,
yeah.
I mean, for me, it just hit on a personal level. Just because going back to what when I started with my first statement, it was just one of those like, I mean, late '90s, early 2000. I was entrenched in underground hip hop. It was just like, might as well carry the back. I was in school, so I had a backpack, but
Of course, of
you
course.
know, everything, the Timbs, the
Exactly.
JanSport, the whatever, Columbia, the North Face, everything up to the like I was that was it. But
Definitely.
there's always that little space that like it was okay to like throw in the music and throwing the Anthony Hamilton and just so just for me it was great. And the way that I received it, I really, like I said, I had no idea it was coming on. I was just like, oh shoot, it's like someone just I was like, oh, it's on, okay. I guess this is what we're doing.
Exactly.
But and then
Yeah.
I never really got a chance to digest like, okay, these guys really are, you know, um, you know, compatriots in terms of that neo soul. Just I'm not even gonna say neo, I'm just say soul,
So yeah, definitely.
soulfulness. That movement coming it, out of the background of, you know, we're coming out of like, basically uh um what's it called? Rockefeller, Rockefeller's heyday
Right.
and Bad Boy's heyday, and obviously Bad Boy had their own version of R&B, what have you, or pop. So you had this real different, unique, authentic, you know, just well intended and well purposed bodies of music coming out, and I just felt like I had to just stop and take notice and really digest it. So that's why it ranks so high for me, because it hit me, it just changed my whole focus in terms of like, my appreciation for music. So yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I think it was definitely a solid R&B or soul versus. Like I liked how it worked out, man. I liked the chemistry between the two artists.
Mm.
Like I said initially, Musiq sounded a little bit off, but I think he got it together. And his records to me just really stood the test of time. What did you think about the delivery of these different hit records in this performance setting? Did you think they did at least a decent job delivering it?
Yeah, I think they did a decent job. I mean, I guess my only knock on Musiq is just that Soulchild is that, I mean, just kind of like being in the moment and understanding like look, maybe my voice might not carry. But then again, I think a lot of it too was just him enjoying it, just enjoying, and like, those little riffs, those runs he would go on, where he would like
Mhm.
carry a note and just sort of take it up and down and just kind of like, what is he
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
Like
And he
he was
would
just
throw the mic
enjoying.
back out to the crowd too,
Yeah, he
like
would
the
do
crowd
that too. But when he
occasionally. Yeah,
really was like trying to like, I don't know, he used to feel himself like a little too much. I think he was just maybe just enjoying and relishing the moment.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think
yeah.
had he cut it back, he could have at least kind of disguised the fact that just his voice wasn't strong enough to compete with Anthony Hamilton. And there weren't, in my mind too, I felt like Anthony Hamilton should have been that guy doing that, and he really wasn't doing it to that extent. I mean, he was
Mm,
singing the records, he was killing them, but he wasn't like giving it like every note he could muster up.
yeah.
And I really think he should have been the guy doing that. So I think that was the imbalance, but I think otherwise it was a great delivery on both sides.
That's an interesting point. When I think about Anthony Hamilton's voice, I feel like he has the better voice to translate in a live setting. I
Mm,
feel like if you got a lighter voice, it's a little bit more difficult to perform live with a voice like that. You
right.
got to really have it down packed. So
Hmm.
just in terms of the voices, I think maybe if Hamilton had a voice that was as light as Musiq, it probably would have been the same thing. But um either way, I think they both did a good job. Like I think it was decent enough. It wasn't like cringy to the point where it's like I can't
No,
I can't watch
no.
this anymore. Yeah, yeah.
No, not
Yeah,
at
I think
all. Not at all. Yeah. And it's just, I
definitely.
mean, it's just, it's, I mean, again, we love to compare and we love to compare, maybe not so much contrast, but just as people, as you know, just human beings, we just love
Word,
to
word.
compare and conflate. But you know, it's funny, even if you think about the way that music songs are written and structured, like they really sound like paragraphs. Like, you
Mm,
know, like it sounds like he wrote out like a story and then just put it to rhymes, because he's like really rhyming it, not rhyming, he's singing in like full sentences and putting
right,
together in paragraphs. And you know, Anthony is really, I mean, I guess he can do that, but he's more of just, he gives you that power, he gives you that, just the those stabs, you know what I'm saying,
right.
just like you would on a sampler, you just get the that that you know, note here or phrase here, and it just, it all connects with emotion and just, you know, musicality. But music really is just telling a story. And you know, his hooks will be like, you know, even like for the night, you know what I'm saying, it's like a story. He's like, even though we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, let's just like act like that's the way for the night, you know, stuff like that. It's just like he's carrying on a full argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um
definitely.
so it's not really, you know, he's his the power of his music and his songs are more in the lyricism and the content more than just the delivery. So it is a different, you know, um a different style.
I
But
dig it.
yeah, you know, I mean, I was just happy this night happened. It was great.
Yeah, man, it was good, man. It's glad to get another verses, man. We got to
Hmm.
try to make this a regular. Maybe not for every verses, but of course the ones that resonate with us, man.
Cool,
And
yeah.
I'm glad that we were able to chop it up, man. I forgot to mention one of the things that I noticed Music Soul Child was saying early. Every time, like not every time, but a lot of times when Anthony Hamilton would perform, like right after he would perform a song, Music Soul Child would say, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Good. That shit had me laughing.
Right,
I was like, yo,
right,
this dude.
right. That's
He's like, I ain't gonna front. That was pretty good. That was pretty
it,
good.
it
Pretty
was
good.
good. He's like, he said what he's like after the David Banner joint, he was like, yo, I'm not gonna front. That's a cool ass record. I was like, that's real. He's like, I like that little cool record. It's like,
I
yeah,
like
it
how
was
they
good. It
like
was good.
they
Just
were
mutual
shouting each
admiration.
other out at the end, like right before he went into the song Love. He was like, yo, Anthony Hamilton said, shout out to Music Soul Child, and Music Soul Child said, shout out to Anthony Hamilton. And then he was like, but we go, you know what time it is. We gotta shout out Love, you know what I mean? So that was a nice little introduction into that record, you know. But yeah, man, I enjoyed it as well. I think this was a solid, dope verses. I'll go through some of my standout tracks or like my favorite tracks. So I'll say from Musiq, I'll say my highlights was definitely seeing Robert Glasper come out, and also Mila of 702, right? Of the group. So that
Yeah,
was
baby
dope.
mama. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool to see her come out. Even though she didn't really perform, she did
Nah,
like a short wording,
I
but
don't
yeah.
know.
But definitely from Music Soul Child, um, the Coming to Break You Off by the Roots, For the Night, So Beautiful, Don't Change, Ella's Gone. Ella's Gone had that like, that whole like lo-fi kind of root sound, boom
Hmm.
bap lo-fi sound. Half Crazy, Just Friends, Teach Me, If You Leave, and Who Knows and Love. Those were like my standout records. Maybe not so much because of his performance of it, but because those are just like really dope
Yeah,
records that I really
undeniable,
like from him.
undeniable.
Yeah. And then for Anthony Hamilton, I would say my joints that I really liked was Coming From Where I'm From, that record. So in Love with Jill Scott, the Lessons remix with Eric Roberson, Raheem Devon, and Kevin Ross, the Jada Kiss Y record, the
Mm.
Complicated with Wheeler James and Charlene. Those were my joints. You know what I mean? So I give, you know what? I was gonna give it to Music, but I can't, yo. You know why? Even though he's the artist that I favor more, I just have to say that Anthony Hamilton definitely showed out in terms of his stage performance and just the records that I didn't some of these records I didn't even know, but when I heard them, they sounded really good, even in the performance setting. So I have to, just in all honesty and fairness, like I have to give this a tie in my opinion. Like I feel like this was a tie. Just off of the strength of how Anthony Hamilton delivered up against some of those like really hit Musiq Soulchild records. So that's what I'll say. That's my recap on who won. I don't think there was any winners in my opinion. I thought it was more of a tie. What was your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I really couldn't call it, you know,
Yeah,
and obviously in the subjective world of music in general, and presentation and performance, it's hard. Sometimes it is easy to say, okay, this was like not even, this was just lopsided. But I mean, enjoy both sides, man, and both sides generally. When a song came on, I'm like, ooh, okay, you have that kind of like, ooh, that face. Um, and I wish it would have gone on for longer, to be honest with you. There were a couple of other joints that I would like to hear from both of them. But so yeah, I could, I mean, if I had to really pick, it's like, in a tiebreaker, I mean, I guess just in the format of verses, this is not on catalog, because catalog
right,
is
right.
different, but the presentation, I'd probably give it to Anthony Hamilton, just
Yeah, I
because,
agree.
like I
I
said, his
agree.
voice, he was able to perform these songs, just the way his voice was built. Voice was basically built to sing a song 20 years from when he's actually singing it and still sound. It's just the way it's built. So he's built perfectly for it. And
Absolutely.
also the features, the people he brought out,
Yeah.
it was just a little, even there was a point where even music was like, yo, you brought out you brought out a couple of people,
Mm.
you brought out all the family right here. It's like, what are you doing? Like, type of thing. So that's what
Yo,
you're
but
supposed to
so
do.
what's so crazy is like Musiq could have had just as much features
Yeah,
or
he could.
more.
I mean, he did a song with Swiss Beats. I forget the name of it, but he did this. He
Mm.
did a song. He could have had. I mean, Versus
Yeah.
founder. So he had a few. I mean, yeah, like I said, Ghost. I'm pretty sure he did a song with Talib. I gotta just go back and check, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, he could have had some people. He could have even done some songs I really liked. I think it was his last album. I forget the name of it, but the logo that's on his hat, that I guess that's his music
right,
logo with the blue glasses.
right,
That's actually
right.
the artwork for his last album that came out. And I'm pretty sure it's the last album. And that album literally had like 30 songs on it. Not everyone
Mm.
was great, but I mean, he could have
Right.
patched together like 10, 15 songs of heat off of that one album. So it's just, I mean, he had a couple lead singles off that album that were fire. But yeah, these guys and it's nice. That this is the other thing too, even though we're talking about songs that are 20 years old, these guys can still bring it. They can still come with another album. I mean, shoot, Anthony Hamilton's Christmas album, listen to it. Like, it sounds cheesy that I'm recommending a Christmas album. I think it's called Home for
Christmas
Christmas.
albums
That
be
joint
fire,
is
yeah.
fire. Oh my god.
Yeah.
He does a version of little drummer boy that's like a 50s like rock type of like Elvis type thing, but
Mm.
just murders it. So I mean, these guys are just, they're not washed up. It's not like we're reminiscing in the past and saying, oh, what it was back then. Like, this could still happen. So yeah, it's just was a really, two good picks for tonight's verses.
I am so glad you said that because I was just thinking about how we look at these verses and we're like, wow, man, we're so wowed by these records, right? These records that were hits, these records that we remember just, in our earlier years, just or years ago. And I'm thinking, is their career, are these, like, the question is like, are these artists done, or is this is are these records going to be what we remember for the bulk of their career, or do they have the potential of making, maybe in another 5-10 years still making like huge records? Like, I know they're going to always keep making records, but like, do they have maybe 5 more hit records in their tank before, you know, that you could look back in the catalog and be like, like that's something that I thought about, like just really impromptu. Like, what's the possibility of, like, after they do these verses, like it kind of reviving their careers to just be like putting out even more hit records moving forward? Like, what's your thoughts on that, man? What you think about the possibilities of us seeing more like big records like this from them?
Yeah, I mean, well, Anthony Hamilton, I think he just put out an album last year. It's called "Love Is a New Black," and it's just,
Mm,
I mean, it's he got a song with Rick Ross on it, like, and these are all, I
nice.
mean, I felt like a few of the records were kind of covers, or like almost like they almost approached like other records as if they were sampling or just like interpolations of other records. But yeah, man, like I'm telling you, and then Music's last album probably came out like I think in like 2019 or 2020.
Right.
um hey man, Music he doesn't have to have that voice to blow everybody away, but in terms of like just his songwriting skills and being able to just make a meaningful song, and with the lyricism and the emotion, and still bring it. Yeah, I think they both, I mean, I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited for both of these dudes and seeing what's next in store.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah. That's
so
the
yeah.
beautiful thing about music. We got, like Ronald Isley and, a lot of older cats that's still making big records. I mean, they're not doing it as frequently as they
Right.
did in their earlier years, but it's still possible. So I agree with you too. But it's just something I wanted to think about and really just explore. But I feel like these are staples. These are staple artists. Like and the other interesting thing is, I was looking at the Super Bowl halftime show, and I thought about "In the Club" by 50 Cent, and I thought about like when that record came out. That was like, I feel like almost 20 years ago.
Mm,
Like that is is
yeah,
crazy. Like,
yeah, it
I
was
saw LeBron dancing to the record in the stands, and like it felt like it was like like a record that resonated with him, maybe in his earlier years. And it's
yeah, he was
like,
in high school. Yeah, he had to
yeah,
have been
he's like
like
in high school. Like,
16.
so it also makes me think about like the records that are coming out now that we might not be hip to, or even if we're hip to it, you know
Yeah.
like 15 years down the
All
line,
right, all
the
right, all
kids
right.
that's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
8 years old, 9 years old, or the younger kids, the teenagers now, they'll be like, "Oh, that was the record." Like,
Oh my
I
god,
saw
Super Gremlins on, yeah.
I seen a post the other day, and
Y'all
somebody
don't
was
know good
like,
music. This is Super Gremlin. You know this. You don't know this good music.
I, s-
Right.
I
Right.
seen a post the other day, and somebody was talking about Chris Brown record. And it was like, "Yo, remember this. This was like my high school years." And I'm like, "Damn, I
Right.
must be
Like
real
what?
old." I'm
High
like,
school.
I'm
Yep.
like, I'm like, that making me feel real old. But that's the thing
For
about
real.
music. It's like, we might be like the records that we might not be in tune to right now. Like, them records is gonna be old school records
Yo,
20
you know
years
what's
from now.
funny? On like IG, they'll like someone will put out like 6 years ago, Drake's the views came out. This is the anniversary, the 6 year anniversary. It's like, what? Like, why are we
Word.
even mentioning this? Like,
Imagine that. Views.
like
Imagine views. You know what I mean? Like,
terrible. Yeah. You know
wow,
what I'm
that's
saying?
that's that's
It's like,
crazy, man.
you know what I'm saying? It's like J. Cole's KOD came out 4 years ago on this day. It's like
Kendrick
we just feel
Lamar's
like
Good Kid,
we just
Mad
feel like
City.
this
You
is
know what I
like in
mean?
the microwave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, but you know what's interesting too is like, it seems like it's the time span is faster now. Like, it seems like
Right.
it's not taking that long. It's like it's just 5 years ago. It's like,
Right.
remember that classic record? You know what I
I
mean?
know, yeah, and it does
Like
speak to
5 years ago
how
is old school. Yeah,
disposable the music has become, you know what
word,
I mean? In
word.
terms of like just there's so much out there and there's no real like physicality to it. It's just kind of like they literally stream right by you these songs and you're just like, you know,
Yeah,
like shoot, like even if you looked up like the number one stream song in like the country, you'd be like, what? Like who sings that song? Like, who? Like you wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? It's just like it is crazy, and it will be crazy like 10 years from now to see how nostalgic people get about music today because it's just so it's like intangible. There's no. It's just like it's like ether. It's just like not the song, but you know,
yeah,
it's just kind of like like who was
yeah.
that? Yeah. So you know,
That's
just
that's something to see,
we're
man.
grateful we lived in that age of just having CDs and
Right?
looking through the credits and all that, or waiting for a
Yeah,
song to come on the radio. Just that tangibility, that's where the emotion comes from. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's why we have those vivid memories because we remember, actually putting the CD in and making sure we had,
absolutely.
or we had a little mix we put together, or had
Yeah,
the changer set, the CD changers set in the right order. We put the program in for the CD. So it'll be interesting that you're right to see to see what these kids
yeah,
and
yeah,
what we
yeah.
we, we hold on to, in the future.
Indeed. But you know the beautiful thing about the older records is that as the records age, they just automatically become more popular.
Yeah,
As with pretty much anything, right? Like, even like with this channel, like you go back to interviews I might have done back in like 2015, the views have gone up. Even though it wasn't at that time, it might not have been a hugely popular video. It just time, you know what I mean? Just time alone makes
yeah.
it popularity increase, especially if this it's quality, So
Well, I mean, I
yeah.
honestly believe, and I think I don't have the hard data, but I've seen a lot of stuff come across, my screen or whatever that like really still the music from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s are
Mm,
what is most streamed and most purchased. And it's just, we all kind of, most of us in this in similar circles have that theory that was the sweet spot in terms of like just the quality and the care that was put into the music. It's like the Adrian Young theory, how he thinks that only good music was made from like 1963 to 1988 or whatever it is, but it is true. I mean,
yeah,
there is definitely a real appetite, and that music is very intriguing, and sounds so unique. Everything that was the big thing is like when you put something out, it had to sound different from something else, because
right.
otherwise it was just that was that was
You
it
know, there,
wasn't.
there was an article the other day. I don't know if you saw it. It was by the Atlantic.com. It was said, "Is old music killing new music?" And it was talking about how, like, in terms of streaming, you know, um, it says old songs now represent 70% of the US music market.
Yeah, I think that was I think I might have seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was an article on the Atlantic.com. Like, and it's an interesting point, because I think it speaks to that whole idea I was just saying, like, the as music ages, the more popular it becomes, it's long, it's in the atmosphere longer for people to
That's true.
check for, right? And
Yeah,
and,
you're
and
right.
the word about it goes around more.
You're right.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if I don't think new music will ever be able to beat out old music because it's just been there longer. But it is an interesting conversation because it's something that with this platform with Out the Box Media, I'm always pushing like new music.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes it's very difficult for people to catch up to the new
Hmm.
music because they're trying to play catch up to the like we were just talking about records 5 years ago is like old school now. So and people still trying to catch up to that. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting experience we're having with music in this day and age.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
it's like survival of the fittest. There is like a Darwinian quality to the music. It's
Yeah,
like, now we have like a flood of music that comes through, but it's really like the strongest that really survives and makes it into that, through that I guess hourglass or whatever it is, and that lasts.
yeah,
So it's kind of cool to see that, you know what I mean? And it's just, you know, I guess it's hopeful, in terms of like, because you almost fear that a lot of the music, a lot of the, the subpar, whatever it is, that's not really like what you think it should be, is going to drown and like, sort of like, mask the really good music. But it
right.
makes its way to the surface. It does. It just, unfortunately, it just may take some time for you to really get to it. But like, to me, I'm still like, like there was a point, like I think I was like, yo, 71's my year. And even like I was born in 77, but I really have
Mm,
this like strong feeling. I just really connect to music. If I see something that was made in 77, I'm gonna give it a listen, because I know
that's what's up.
it's gonna, it's just, in certain years like 71, 68, like
I
all
never
these, like,
thought about it
you know
like
what
that, but
I'm
that's dope to like
saying?
really check for your birth year, man. Like
Yeah, and
that's
it didn't.
dope.
It wasn't like something I set out to do. I just happened to notice, just because it was my
Nah,
birthday. I was
oh
like, "Oh, this joint was
wow,
made in '77 too." So a lot of like, the Ron Carters and the VSOPs and the Aretha Franklin joints and all kinds of stuff. Like, really the early Jacksons, like all that stuff, just like it just kind of hit. It's just kind of like it was in that like sort of pre-disco or sorry, post-disco era, that boogie era, like all that stuff. Like I
nice.
love it. It just kind of, you connect with it. I mean, I connect with it because it's just, maybe it's just, you know sort of my birthright or whatever. But yeah, it's just, as you appreciate music, you kind of get into your own little zone of what you like. But
I could dig it, man.
yeah,
I
man,
could
this
dig.
is it's real quick. Yeah, we went off into a tangent, but it really
Nah,
speaks.
it's all
It
good.
does relate back to the verses, because these are joints, that like, think of how many R&B joints were coming out at that time. You know what I'm saying? How many R&B groups? How many? You had the 702s and the Next and and they all had their little hits and stuff. But like, to see these guys stand the test of time and have like 20 joints, and that
Yeah,
they could just bang you over the head with at any given notice. That's a real feat. That really is. Yeah, stand the
definitely.
test of time.
True artist, true artist. Yo, man, I had a pleasure chopping it up
Yeah,
with you
absolutely.
tonight, man.
As
Indeed, man.
usual.
I'm glad. Thank you again for being able to be on this live impromptu, man.
Yeah,
I
it
thought,
was just, yeah, it was just chance, fate. It really wasn't. We didn't prepare. This is the most
word,
off the
word.
top, out the box that I've done.
Exactly, right? Yep.
So yeah,
Getting the
this is
out the
good. It was
box
good. It was
on.
cool.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we gotta do this again, man. I know we do for a Dilla, a J Dilla
Yeah,
tribute.
A
'Cause,
level. What's up, J Red?
shout out
What's
to A
up?
level.
Let's do it
Yeah, man. We gotta
before
we gotta
before the
get
end of the
one
month,
in.
before February ends.
Word, word, right? I gotta get one in. I want to do one on the Mix Cloud, but I
Yep.
also want to do one
Yeah, I'll
here, man.
catch you on the calling. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, man.
That'll be cool.
Let's look at that, man. And any other topics, man. Let's build on it. But yo, man, thank you, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
you coming
absolutely,
through.
man.
This was nice.
Uh-huh.
We can
Yeah,
recap.
cool.
I know it's a hip hop channel, but
Nah,
listen,
we need this. We need the
like
balance.
you said
Yeah.
earlier, like it's connected, man. It's connected.
It is.
And I've
It's all
always
music.
said, and really, I've done a lot of interviews with soul artists on this platform as well. So what I mean, from Robert Glasper to Erica
It's all
Badu to
good.
Eric
It's just as
Thomas.
long as it's good, right?
Yeah, yeah, indeed. So, yo,
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got this out tonight, man. I hope the people are feeling, got a chance to check out the verses. Go check it out if you didn't get a chance. I think you'll probably be able to catch it somehow. But yeah, man, I'm glad that they went and let this one out for free, because initially I heard, they was trying to charge
Nah,
for this one. So, keep it for the people.
yeah, let's do it.
And for those out there tuning in, man, check out the website, outtheboxmedia.com. It is a music blog. Remember, every
Yo,
day I'm
it's a
posting up
blitz.
new
It's a
hip
music
hop.
blitz. That's what it is. It says you get blitzed.
Word. I'm a little behind. I got more posts to make, but
Nah,
yeah, go
yeah,
check
if
that out.
you go on that website, guard your grill, because you're going to get some information for real. Go
Word.
ahead.
Yeah, man. It's I really did this, man, just because for my love. I love hip hop. I love being able to share new music. I've also been doing a lot of new reviews as well. So I got the music review channel. That's my other YouTube channel at Out the Box Media. So that this is Out the Box TV. This is the channel that I've had for like about over 13 years. But I just started a new channel where it's mostly music reviews. So if you want to check out the album reviews I've been doing lately, that's
That
at
Killer
Out the
Priest.
Box
That
Media.
Killer Priest is fire. Yeah.
Word up, that new Killer Priest EP is dope. The Three Fantastic Supermen epic, and then also, like I said, I got the blog and the social media platforms. Make sure you hit us up at Out the Box Media. It's Out the Box Media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All right, and you go to the website and subscribe to keep updated with important Out the Box posts. And also, if you would like to donate to the platform, I got the Cash App and the PayPal up there, to help, you know, pushing the movement forward, man. It costs to get this to do the StreamYard, to run the website, all of that costs. So any donation you could provide is helpful. You can send it to PayPal, paypal.me/outtheboxmedia, and Cash App, cash tag out the box rep. So also I got a campaign happening right now, a Music Breaker campaign, where if you want to do an interview with me, you're on the Music Breaker app as an artist, you could definitely hit that up. I'll put the link in this description, but it's also up on the website as well. And it's in my link tree on my social media. Actually, you can find the link there as well. But man, thank you, my brother Mark, man. Always a pleasure seeing you. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. You know what I
Right,
mean?
man.
We got to get a level down for the other one, man, or for the one we got to do eventually with Dilla.
We got to
So
talk to his people. We got to talk to his people. That's what we got to do.
yeah, we got to.
We can't go. We can't go straight at A level. We got to get to his
reach out
people
to his
first,
management.
right? And they get back to us. You know.
Word, man. Listen, man. Thank you again, my brother.
Yeah,
You
absolutely,
enjoy
brother.
the rest of your night, and
Love.
let's stay connected, man.
All right,
Thank y'all
man.
to all the
Peace.
people tuned in tonight as well, man. We appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe to the channel. All right. So
Peace.
we out of here. Go ahead, take us out, man. What happened to what? What happened to what?
What
What A
happened to
level say?
peace? What happened to peace? Peace.
Peace. All right, we out.